So why do I focus on Facebook and social media so much? The reason why is because I started my business in 2001. Barely knew what a website was. There were paid ads. There were lots of different opportunities at that time that still exist now, but were much bigger focus then. We sold on Amazon. So we dealt with third-party sellers. I've been there, done that with most everything, every direction that you can possibly sell products online. And when Facebook showed up, first of all, I was very skeptical and I thought this isn't actually going to do anything. Like people are just posting about their ham sandwiches. This isn't actually going to make sales. Then I went to a conference about using social media and marketing and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. A coach of mine, a mentor of mine actually said that, Allie, I think you would do really well with social media and I'm going to pay for you to go to the conference. And I'm like, all right, you don't have to twist my arm. I'm always interested in learning, but I'm skeptical about the social media stuff. It turned out it was game changer, absolute game changer. My mind was blown during that conference of what was actually possible with social media. And to be fair, it was ads that made me the most excited. It took me a while to understand the organic side of social media because a lot of the guys that I was learning from are what are called direct response marketers. And they're like, okay, put $1 in, get $5 out. And that sounds great. But when you're doing ads and learning how to run ads, there's a lot of skill that's brought into that. It's skill that after years and years and years of marketing study, it's still a fine line you're walking and you have to have a tremendous skill level to make that profitable. So when I started teaching other people how to use Facebook, I was teaching a little bit of organic, but I was actually teaching ads as well. And what I saw was people were getting stuck. I was teaching email marketing because that's what I was doing. And people were getting stuck. They were getting stuck over and over and over again because it was just a bit more technical than what most people were comfortable with. And it took me years to learn this stuff. And now I'm trying to teach people that have zero marketing knowledge, very little tech information and tech skills. I'm trying to teach them how to do this pretty complicated strategy that, yeah, it worked really well for me, but it's not going to work at all for them if they just can't quite get the pieces together. And, with handmade sellers, to hire me to do it would be so expensive. You would not be able to be profitable. And again, I would have to charge what I'm worth. It would be a huge expense on something like a handmade seller. So I'm obsessed with results and I'm obsessed with problem solving, right? We have these people that are trying to sell their products online. What I've been doing with Facebook ads and email lists and that sort of thing is just a couple of steps beyond what they're capable of doing, at least at first. And even if they were like willing to try, it was taking 6 months, a year for them to get something all together. I mean, I was teaching websites, email marketing, Facebook ads. That was my bread and butter. But they're like, it's taking a year to build a website because they kept getting stuck and overwhelmed. It was taking forever for them to learn how to do giveaways to collect emails. Then they were afraid to send emails. And then they had the cost of the email platform and the cost of the website platform. And that's adding up over months and months and months of them just trying to get forward momentum without feeling overwhelmed. And I thought, what is the faster, easier way to do this? How can we get these same people quick results without having to do all of the tech? So that's when I really started to learn organic social. I understood organic social, but I think even I didn't understand how good organic social was until I started teaching like the paid ads and all of that stuff. And I would have students come back and say, I made 5 sales off of this one post. And I'm like, well, that's pretty good. And then they're like, yeah, and I made another post and I got sales off of that. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's pretty good too. Then start making these kinds of posts. And so they started making more of those kinds of posts. And then we brought in other kinds of posts. And I learned just as much from that first core group of students as they learned from me, I believe. We learned about how to do Facebook Live sales. We learned the quick cash method, the mix of posts that I now have in the prompts for profits. They were the original guinea pigs of like, all right, let's try this and let's try that. It was a big experiment of how do we get results for handmade sellers, quick, easy, and cheap. We don't have to boost posts. We don't have to run ads to get followers, run ads to get sales. And you can still include those things. I use ads and I use boosted posts, but you don't have to when you do this strategy. As a handmade seller, it's not necessary for you to make sales and to even grow. So, we just kept building on this foundation of what works and what doesn't work. And that's where the super seller system came from. And every time we tried to veer off of that and say, okay, now let's try this other platform, the tech issues would come in, and even just the use, right? Because everybody's on Facebook. We, at one point in time, took our entire Handmade Sellers Club community and moved it off of Facebook and started delivering it on a totally different platform. And we had less interaction in our community because people weren't just using that all the time. So the fact that people were using Facebook all the time, we moved Handmade Sellers Club back to Facebook, but then now their business is on Facebook too. So they're already logging into Facebook to do things. And it's easy to remember, oh, I have to do this thing for my business too. We're logging into a website or logging into an email platform. It takes extra effort, and you got to remember to do those things. Where with Facebook, it's all right there. So I like it because it's fast, easy, low tech. It can be a pain in the butt sometimes, but every platform's a pain in the butt sometimes. People are already there. Your customers are already there. You don't have to chase after, you don't have to run ads, you don't have to chase after them. You're not kind of like hidden in a corner, or like I'd like to say, like you're not setting up a table in the middle of a cornfield. You're findable. It's easy to get in front of your ideal customer. There are no fees associated with Facebook, so you don't have to pay any fees to sell on Facebook. It's free to make a post. You can make 10 posts a day and it's still going to be free. You can't do that with email. You send so many emails, it's going to keep costing you more and more money. So it's low cost, it's easy to start, it's low tech, it's free. So it's just the easiest platform to get started on, and there's customers there. Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't other strategies out there that could get you bigger results for less work, but your skill level needs to be so much higher. I see these ads all the time of like how to easily make sales every day. And it's like websites, lead magnet, funnels, Facebook ads that are finely tuned for this and that. And I look at that and I say, that's all great for the experienced marketer. But for the person who's just wants to sell their candles, who just wants to sell their crochet, just wants to sell, fill in the blank, and has no marketing or business experience at all, that strategy, while it looks good on paper, and I believe they can actually get those results, is almost unattainable because it's just too advanced. So I'm starting people out with a simple strategy that gets them results quickly, and that's Facebook.